If President Tinubu policy is working, by now, 3 years, economy would have been stabilizing in terms of high cost of living would have been dropping. That's one. Insecurity would have been minimal. We are not asking him to change Nigeria overnight. Even Peter Obi, 4 years, he's not telling you he will change Nigeria in 4 years. He's telling you that between that 4 years, he will chart the course that will transform the country. And many people don't understand when we are talking about this ticket of Peter Obi and Kwankwaso. That is a long-term ticket. It's not about Peter Obi, because the idea, Peter Obi builds the platform in his 4 years, he stays off. Kwankwaso takes over and continue that platform. So there will be continuity for the next 12 years before Kwankwaso hands over to the next person in the South. So that 12 years alone, if they consistently do what they are doing, Nigeria must have changed by far within 12 years. And Peter Obi, I know, will implement the SDGs at the federal level, because that's his development strategy in the state level with his needs that time. So when he key into these developmental goals, you will see how the country will start turning around. You will start seeing signs, not that changes will happen overnight. No. We didn't expect Tinubu for changes to happen overnight. But we have said that 3 years is too much for us to start seeing signs. That is the minimum measurement range for an outcome to be showing result. But it's not. More hardship, more insecurity, more poverty, more darkness. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Andy Media TV. So we're going to look into what's going on in Nigerian political space. As you may be aware that most of the political parties recently have done their primaries to pick out who's gonna be their candidate for the 2023 presidential election. So I'm focusing on the three major players in this exercise, just like we had in the 2023 general election. And I think the 2027 general election is going to be like a repetition of what happened in the 2023 general election, because it's still the same key players in the person of the incumbent president Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is the candidate for the All Progressive Congress, the APC. You have former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who is also the flag bearer for the African Democratic Congress, and then Mr. Peter Obi, who is also the candidate for Nigeria Democratic Congress. So it is what it is. We are going to see a repetition of what happened in 2023, but this time around, there's going to be something different, in the sense that the 2023 election, came in like, it came in unexpected, the way the whole thing happened, and the glitching system of Professor Mahmoud Yaku at that time. So many Nigerians were taken unawares. But in 2027, it's going to be a different ballgame, because many citizens now are awake. As you can see what is going on in the country, people are going to sensitize those in the local communities on what to do, to understand that receiving rice, receiving beans, or receiving 5K to vote for a party that is not delivering result is the bane of the suffering that they are going through today. So people are now being sensitized to understand what to do, how to choose their candidate, and all of that. So 2027, there's going to be something different. There's going to be some shift. And remember, in 2023, these guys have not been tested at the presidential level. Many people believe that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu built Lagos, so he's going to build Nigeria. Many people believe that, I think was former vice president, he's going to do a better job. Some believe, Peter Obi is a former governor and is going to do a good job as well. So now that Bola Tinubu has had the opportunity, for the past 3 years, he has been tested. And what Nigerians can conclude is that his leadership is full of hunger, full of suffering, full of high cost of living, full of joblessness, full of insecurity, and so many other things. That's what many Nigerians are crying, saying that they don't want APC anymore. They don't want the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu anymore. And that's why they are on the street, kind of canvassing and sensitizing people, and also protesting for the kidnap of so many Nigerians, especially the recent one that just happened. About 45 students were kidnapped from their school, including their teachers, and they are still in the bush even on Children's Day. So there are a lot of protests going on across the country and all of that. So that's why many Nigerians are saying enough is enough. That's why I'm telling you today that 2023 general election, you're going to see a whole lot of difference on what happened in 2023. People have seen Bola Ahmed Tinubu. No more assumption that he will build Nigeria. He has the opportunity. Has he built Nigeria? Has things changed? No. Things are getting worse from where Buhari even left it. That is the honest truth. And many Nigerians don't need to be told. They are feeling it. They are experiencing it, including those in the diaspora. Because those in the diaspora used to send money maybe once in a while or something like that. But today, there are people who depend on them to feed, depend on them for virtually everything. But before, they only depend on them for critical needs. Maybe there is a huge hospital bill or stuff like that. But today, they are totally dependent on their people abroad. So the pressure is also on the people in the diaspora. It's not just about those in Nigeria. So guys, in this video, I'm going to examine what I already know Peter Obi will do, assuming he wins the presidency in 2027. These are the things he's going to do. I'm trying to, let people who have been asking questions. Oh, he was governor of Anambra for 8 years. What did he do? He didn't build any new school. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. Many people don't even know him. Many people don't even know when he was governor of Anambra State. Many people have not even visited Anambra State for once. But they are the people on Twitter, on Facebook, on everywhere, saying a whole lot of stuff that they don't even know about. So many people do not experience his leadership in Anambra. Many people don't even know what Anambra is, even before he took over the leadership. In terms of, for me then, I always say that Anambra is a continent when it comes to leadership of Anambra State. One of the most difficult states to govern. You know why? There's quite a whole lot of billionaires in the state. There are people who are political godfathers that nothing works except they decide so. So the point I'm trying to make is that many people have not been in Anambra, visited Anambra, know even when Peter Obi was, governor of the state. Many people began to know Peter Obi when he went to the Conference Center in Lagos, in Gamu, Lagos. This is a program that Pastor Poju, used to do. That was when people began to ask, who is this person? Because of the way he spoke, he shared experiences when he was governor, what he experienced, how he practically dealt with them, and how he was able to govern the state without interference. How he shut people out of the government, those who disturbs the state. He shut them out, how he was able to save money, how he was able to block leakages, and how he was able to cut cost of governance. And he used those resources to build internal roads, to build schools, buy buses for them, computers for them, set up ICT, center for each of the schools, and how he was able to accredit so many teaching hospitals, and other, nursing schools and the rest of them. These are the monies he saved by blocking leakages. He did not borrow new loan for the 8 years he was governor. He paid off all the pensions and arrears and gratuity of what he inherited from past administration of Governor Ngige and then Badunuju at that time. So he explained all of this, and that's why people began to say, who is this person? They began to have interest in him and all of that, until when he became the vice presidential candidate for Atiku at that time in PDP. So a whole lot happened along the line, which many people do not know. But having understood his kind of personality, having understood what he did when he was governor of Anambra State, and knowing who he is as a person, I'm going to tell you right now in this video what to expect, assuming Peter Obi wins the presidency in 2027. For us to get into this ride, please, if you are new to my channel, kindly like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel and put on your notification bell so that when my next video drop, you'll be among those that will be notified. It's good to be getting these videos as it's hot, because when it's hot, that's when you'll be able to enjoy, the information I'm passing to you from this video. So guys, let's dive into the nitty-gritty of my conversation today. All right. So now, Mr. Peter Obi is a man of simplicity. He's not somebody that power intoxicates in terms of, oh, I'm now the president, therefore I can do and don't do. That's why that the Constitution empowers him, to do a whole lot. Because he has empathy, because he has conscience, a good Christian, somebody that is man of the people, who don't like to see people suffer. So he will put all these characteristics into play. He has the competence. Peter Obi has been the chairman of 3 banks, which you all know. Peter Obi has been the chairman of Security and Exchange Commission, that is government agency, which you all know. He has been a member of the presidential, economic, management team, which you all know. Peter Obi has been a successful businessman in the private sector, both in the UK and in Nigeria. You all know. Peter Obi is a billionaire. You all know. So, who goes around schools, hospitals, giving out money to support, education? It's personal money, not government money. Anywhere he goes, he does that money. Building boreholes in different communities and all of that. He's not doing that because he's contesting for presidency. That is his nature. He has been to Haiti, been to different countries of the world that have, all this epidemic and hurricane and stuff like that. So that's his nature. So even if he didn't win in 2027, he will continue to do his good gesture. That is his nature. He's giving back to the society what he has worked for personally. That's aside. The fact is this. Assuming in 2027 January, Peter Obi wins the presidential position of Nigeria, these are the key things Peter Obi will do. Just write it down, and you will tell me later if I'm right or wrong. I'm telling you from experience, I'm telling you from knowledge, I'm telling you for understanding who he is. These are what to expect. Number one, Peter Obi will block leakages. One major problem Nigeria has as a nation is leakages. Nigeria earned huge chunk of resources, but where did they go? Private pockets. And I'll give you one simple example. The former special assistant to the president on asset recovery, Obna, who served under President Muhammadu Buhari, in the podcast interview with Shego Kimbaloya, Mike on podcast, you can Google it on YouTube and listen. He said it there that he was written from Texas in United States of America that Nigeria has about $60 billion, not naira, $60 billion stolen oil money that is stuck in the United States, and that another presidential aide, had about $9 billion. So if you put them together, that's $69 billion. They asked him to start working on recovering this money back to the country. And that's where he fell out with, former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami. He wrote to the president and copied Malami and said, hey, this is the information we have. I need you guys' support to be able to work towards, getting this money back. What happened? Malami was angry at how dare him. And that was where they fell out. And in fact, all this is led to his being, removed from that position. How did that money get there? Who are the people moving this money to that account? Imagine if Nigeria's COFAS receive 60 billion or 69 billion and add to what we have in the foreign reserve. The value of dollar will start going down. Naira will start gaining strength. Our economy will start revamping. Government will have some more resources to put into infrastructure, supporting SMEs and ailing businesses and stuff like that, building SMEs. These are what the monies would have been used for. But some few individuals trap this money, lodge it in accounts in Texas, and they know how they probably must be, moving money from their account to their personal, accounts. And you see a lot of estates in Nigeria. Nobody lives there. There is housing shortage. There is big estates, wonderful buildings. No occupants. They are there for years. No occupants. How? No investor will pull money from bank, develop the real estate, and it's empty. No investor will do that because you need to repay the loan with interest. So that is number one information. So what Peter Obi will do is to block those leakages. Those stealing crude oil, he has to block them, meter the oil wells that are not metered. He will meter those because there are some that are metered, some are not metered. So all this theft is going through unmetered oil well and oil facilities. So all those people in the bush stealing crude, connecting their pipe and all these things, we're gonna work on dealing with them. And don't forget, all this stolen crude, nobody put crude oil in his pocket. It has to go through a ship, through our waterways, right? We have Navy who's supposed to man our waterways. So how are all these ships gaining access to the country, loading crude and disappearing? All this thing will be there too, because until you kick corruption, Nigeria will not breathe. Corruption is one problem Nigeria is going through. So first thing you're gonna do is to block leakages. And when they block leakages, what happens? It saves the resources. He mop up those resources, which is gonna use for development. That is the trick he used in Anambra. He shut off those who are gaining access to state coffers, stealing what the state has. He blocked them, mop up those money, use it to build road network within communities. Or villages are tired with double drainage. That's what the Peter Obi did. Bridges connecting communities. And that's how food supplies were coming out from remote areas. In Anambra, we have riverine areas, people that does fishing and all of this. So all these things started coming out to the city center because there is now access road and so on and so forth. So that's one aspect. Number two, Peter Obi is going to cut the cost of governance. Me and you know that one major problem Nigeria has is that the cost of running government is overbloated, so big. You can see the convoy of the president. You can see the convoy of a governor. You can see even a senator, senate president. Just name it. You saw when every 4 years the legislators buy SUVs for themselves. Last year they spent 140 to 160 million naira per vehicle. Multiply it by 460 National Assembly members. Then you understand what we're saying is billions of naira. And those who have been in that position, 30 tenors, for example, that's 12 years, they receive this car every 4 years. So they will have like 30 cars now. If you have spent four tenor in National Assembly, you have 4 different cars. Why should the government be the one buying SUVs for National Assembly members, despite the humongous amount of money they collect on monthly basis? They collect their paycheck, they collect allowances, they collect even money for their constituencies. They claim they do constituency project, which those things does not trickle down to the people. We have seen most of them. They buy, grinding machine, they buy sewing machine. Some even distribute plates as constituency projects. So we see all these things happen. People who receive millions of naira or billions of naira, at the end of the day, they take 1% of that money, do one useless, empowerment program and video it, and then they say they have done. That's not constituency project. If you are doing constituency project, you are targeting critical infrastructural need of your community, like school, revamping schools, strengthening the teachers in the school by creating training programs for them to empower their capacity. You're talking about insecurity that's going on now. You should be able to provide resources, to provide vehicles for vigilantes, support their, ammunitions and all of these things. These are the kind of, when you are talking of empowerment, you are looking at things that will better the lives of the people. But coming to share plate or share whatever they are sharing, you go to the Nigerian budget, you will see construction of stadium for at where? Construction of market, at which market? Those money disappears. That's what we see. So cost of governance, you see them appoint 30 essays to do what? To do what? I've said it before. As a minister of the Federal Republic, assuming you are Minister for Agriculture, you don't need essay for horticulture. You don't need essay for fishery. You don't need. That's why the directors are in that departments. The director who can do the job. Any information you need on fishery, director of fishery department can respond to that, answer you, advise you, counsel you, guide you. That's it. So why have essay on this, essay on that? One minister will have like 15 essays. Multiply it by 36 ministers. Tinubu even appointed 40-something ministers. So just check it. Look at the president. They have essay communication and policy, essay this, essay decent communication. You have like 5-10 essays for decent communication. What are they communicating? That is the point. So cost of governance will be cut. You go to the presidential fleet now, you see different private jets there that are not being used for anything. They are parked. You see yacht. What does the president need a yacht for? They say, oh, it's for the Navy. So all these things, they're going to deal with that. President is traveling. You see different governors coming to the airport to handshake him before he enter flight. What for? For what purpose? For what purpose? And if you have listened to Peter Obi, tells you, when the state have engagement, maybe in the US, they will write a list of 50 people going to US for what? Igbo Day. To do and do what? 50 people. So that's why you see Peter Obi, even when he was governor, he traveled alone. He's going to Abuja. He called the IGP in Abuja. I need security when I land in Abuja. He carries his bag by himself, fly to Abuja. When he gets to Abuja, he collects security in Abuja. When he finishes with them, he dash them some more money and go back home than flying with 5-10 securities from Abuja, paying their flight, paying their hotel, paying their food. And so he knows how to cut cost of governance. Remember, in his word, they give shishi, right? He hates money being spent the wrong way. So he has allergy for money wrongly spent. So cost of governance, and that is one thing Nigerians have been crying. So obviously, he may implement a Rosanya report, shrinking ministries, merging the one that need to be merged, and cutting down the bloatness of Nigerian budgets. They put a lot of junks in the budget. If you may be aware that as I speak, the last data I know, Nigeria has about 18,000 abandoned projects. If you want to know what I'm telling you, visit universities. You will see, especially in the Niger Delta, you will see NDDC project abandoned. Most of them hosted, abandoned. Dormitories, abandoned. Classrooms, abandoned projects. And they are awarding new ones. So what is the point? You have not finished the existing project. You are awarding new project. If it's not corruption, tell me what it is. Existing rules are not fixed. You are awarding new rules. No. Fix the existing one. Let people have access. Then you can start creating new one when you have upgraded the existing rules. That's how it is done. So he came into Anambra, schools dilapidated. He focused on revamping existing schools before he started building, new university in Anambra, Odumegwu Ojukwu University and the rest of them. So that's what he did. Secondary school, buy them buses, set up ICT center for them, buy computers and distribute across school, fix internet for them. And Anambra moved from 26, 27 position in WAEC and NECO to number 1 within few years. Decent teachers, decent school, but different strategy. That is the point. And the result were there. So that is what is going to do. Cut cost of governance. And it's going to happen before your very eyes. No office of the First Lady. You can see First Lady distributing cars. Who elected him? Nobody. Unconstitutional office existing. Presidency bridging the laws. There's no law setting up office of the First Lady. But they are there distributing money to politicians. Doing campaign with car gifts. That is the question we are dealing with today. So I've mentioned two. The third one, education. We receive a boost, serious boost, because Peter Obi is a man of education. Even his personal resources, you can see how he visits schools, give out money to schools, to revamp school. The result was there in Anambra. taking a number from 26 to 7 position in work and Neku to number 1. It's not magic. It's a process. He did it in a couple of years and sustained it over time before he left office. How did he do it? That's the question you should be asking. He knows what to do and he knows how to do it. He has done it. He has experienced it. He has practicalized it and it worked. And that's the same way Nigerian universities will start working. Nigerian secondary schools, all these technical and vocational schools that is cut across Nigeria, will start working. They have about 104 unity schools belonging to federal government. So the federal government will revamp those schools and make them work again, because education is one way of pulling people out of poverty. When people are educated, they know their left from the right, they know what to do to improve their life and improve the system. So education is key. We are talking about human, development index, HDI. Education is key and vital. So those of you in school, don't be deceived by student loan they are giving you that you don't even know how to pay back, no job for you at the end of the day. You better think twice. Go to Anambra and study what happened when he was governor in schools, and then use that to do your conclusion. Again, the health sector will receive a boost. In Anambra, he revamped the health sector, registered so many, institutions like the nursing school, the midwifery school. He registered them and teaching hospital to accredit them, and then they began to train teachers, to begin to train nurses and the rest of them. So those of you in the hospital, especially doctors, nurses, and other personnel who are working without tools, this is your time to think twice, to know where to cast your vote. If you want to work in an environment that is, conducive for you to, dish out your skill, this is your opportunity to make your right choice. So the fact is that there's no medical tourism that will happen. Write it down. Peter Obi will not be president that goes to France for checkup or to UK. No, he does his treatment in Nigeria. If he's sick or if he to do his checkup, he goes to a medical facility in Nigeria. The same hospital me and you go is where Peter Obi will be going. He will be going to those hospitals. There won't be any special hospital for the president. No. Because you want to see what you experience when you go to hospital. You want to see what facilities that are there for the doctors to work, to attend to your medical need. That's what you want to do. So you will cut medical tourism, which we can see. Buhari was in the hospital for 90-something days. Private jet part, we are paying. Hospital bill, we paid. His aides that are with him lodging in the hotel and all this, we paid. How many billion did Nigeria spend for Buhari's medical issue at that time? Remember? Now, the incumbent president, the same thing, from France to UK and what have you. So, that is the issue. The guy is very fit. Or Peter Obi can travel to 10 different locations in one day. I don't know how he does it, but it happens before our eye. You see him in burial here, in Delta. You will see him in Lagos in the next 2 hours in a function. You will see him in Bayelsa in another function. You will see him in Borno in the same day. I don't know how he does it, but that's what it is. Medical tourism will be shut down. All these, somebody is sick, he goes to UK, will be shut down. So, education, health sector receiving 36 million as budget release, very ridiculous. It cannot happen under his watch. Security and defense, they will receive a boost, and this security will be tackled because P2B's goal is to develop agricultural sector. One, to provide raw materials to industries because it's going to support SMEs, right? It's going to revamp Bank of Industry, Bank of Agriculture, increase their capital base and use them to be able to distribute resources to SMEs and also to support the agricultural sector, especially in the north where the vast land is there. He has told northerners, be ready. If I get this position, we're going to build the north. We're going to deal with poverty in the north. So these things will happen before your very eyes. So for you to do agriculture, you must tackle security problems. So that is the reason why you understand that this insecurity issue must be curbed, whether they like it or not. Because if you don't kill that corruption in this security sector, you will not solve the problem. So a lot of changes will happen, and you're going to be on the forefront. P2B is not a person that sits at the back. I remember when there was flooding in Anambra, he went there. He entered the flood to go to the person who was still trapped. He entered flood with his clothes. He was walking inside the flood. Who will do that? President went to Benue. He said that the rain, there was too much rain and the road is bad. He didn't go to Yalwata. Remember? That we are massacred. He didn't go there. The other time he went to Plateau. He said there's no light at the airport for him to fly back at the wrong way. He met them at the airport and he told them he have 10 minutes to stay with them. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And the people who were mourning their children that were killed are the ones who came to the airport to meet the president. No empathy. So now you can see a man with empathy. Once anything happens, he will be there physically. except if he's not in the country. And even if he's outside the country, I believe him, he will cut his trip short to come back. That's the kind of person he is. Then, having mentioned these ones, the next thing you're going to see is production. Nigeria is a country that is dependent on importation. So Peter Obi's goal is to stop that by developing, the agricultural sector, revamping ailing businesses. Remember those days, you have the textile mill in Kaduna, you have the Peugeot, PAN, Peugeot Automobile Nigeria. You have all those things. Go and ask Enosin how he benefited, when he was governor. He pays him upfront to produce vehicle for the state. Peter Obi did not use SUV from anywhere. The cars he used was 406 done by PAN in Kaduna, from Kaduna State in Nigeria. So he's an advocate of consume what we produce. Not people that will say consume what we produce. They are buying Cadillac. We don't produce Cadillac. They are driving Mercedes from Germany. We don't produce Mercedes. But Peter Obi used 406, not bulletproof. He said he's not owing anybody. He's doing what Anambra people want. So who is going to kill him? It is what it is. But these guys, they buy themselves SUVs, 160 million, bulletproof, because they know they are not doing the right things. That is the issue. So he cannot do quite a whole lot of things, tackling the problems of the country. Then the key goal, the one that is paining Peter Obi so much, is poverty. And they are sworn to pull people out of poverty. How will he do that? Very simple. Through education, making sure that those out of school are back to school, right? Putting them back into schools. When they are in schools, all these Boko Haram recruiting boys, to join them, they won't see the boys to recruit, because when they are in school, nobody will have access to them. When they are closed from school, they are in another lesson, and so on and so forth. So when you are putting them in school, you are putting them out of poverty, because you are grooming them and training them to be useful by the time they finish, the academics. Again, by revamping SMEs, through them, you create jobs. Those who have finished school that don't have job, you see them being engaged. There's a pilot program, that happened, I think, under President Jonathan's government. They used Bank of Industry, right? There's some funds moved to Bank of Industry. Bank of Industry supported a lot of businesses. Aba was a case study at that time. I was part of the team that, went to Aba to see the impact of the program, to measure how the program is progressing. My dear, they gave people like 150K at that time to support their business, the shoe market in Aba, right? And then the man who was alone doing his small shoe business got the 150K. By the time we went back, the man has employed 2 people working with him, because with the scope of things, he can no more cope with what he's doing. So he need more hands. He engaged 2 people, right? Other people engaged 5 people. Then some of them who are doing those, they are, knitting the top of the shoe to the sole. They were doing it manually before. They bought them the lace machine. I think about 2 of them in the market. So people go there, they pay a token, they lace their shoes. That's why Aba shoe began to be more stronger. Before when you wear it, you may pull off. But because equipment now came in, people were just paying token, and then and within a couple of minutes, they have done thousands of shoes immediately with the machine. I saw it with my eyes. I was there with, physically present. So what did I understand from the program? Employment was created. Many people were engaged, because the person who was 2 before expanded to 5 because of the influence of that 150K or just 150K. They were paying it, with small interest at that time. And again, many of them, they were not defaulting. Most of them were paying back as at when due, because we checked the repayment rate, we checked the number of jobs created by this influx of this new addition of resources to them, and we saw modern equipment started coming into the market. So the business began to grow, and they were exporting shoes to most of African countries, to be honest. All right, so what am I trying to bring out here? If Peter Obi, with the plan he has, create a venture capital through which you fund these SMEs, and then you will see out of 1 million SMEs that may receive those resources, at least, let's say half of them, 500,000 of them, will be able to do well, create more jobs, and you see unemployment will start dropping. It's not about changing the parameters of calculating unemployment so that we jump from 34% to 4%. It doesn't make sense. The reality will still there in our faces. That's the point. Then another thing that you will watch out for, in his government, is power. Don't forget, he has done a lot of trips to Egypt, to so many other countries, to understudy how they generate up to 40,000 megawatts. And I saw him in one of his videos saying that if he gets this seat, that he's going to move the country from 4,000 to 10,000. Many people were like, how will it happen? This is this. My dear, it's achievable. I will tell you why. In 2011, 2012, Bat Nnaji was the Minister of Power at that time. I was there, when the man was taking us gradually to hit 10,000 megawatts by 2012. That was the target. And we are at about almost 7,500 megawatts at that time. He has a strategic plan on how to move us to 10,000 and going forward. But what happened? As we have done all those things, performance contracts were designed for him to sign that this is what we have agreed is going to take us to 10,000 by 2012. Suddenly, it was on the news that Bat Nnaji was fired. It was GE, Geometric Electric then, right? They said, no, he was there, he has interest in geometric and he has conflict of interest. Just listen to Nigerians. He has conflict of interest working for geometric. He'll be giving them contracts because he has a stake in that company and all of that. The man said he's no more in the company. Since he got the ministerial position, he did the right thing, take away his this thing to blind trust, so he's no more with the company. Nobody want to listen. They forced President Jonathan, and President Jonathan has to fire him. Today, as we speak, the man doing Coastal Highway, right? President's son is a member of the board in that company. And virtually all the projects Tinubu is doing that doesn't go through competitive bidding goes to that company where his son is a member of board. Please, what is it? Conflict of interest or what? So I don't know why Nigeria deceived themselves. The moment that man was fired at that time, Nigeria dropped back from 7,500 to 5,000 something. From 5,000 to 30,400. Where are we today? After how many years Jonathan left power? Why? Because Nigeria don't like what is good. They don't like what works. They use sycophancy. They use hypocrisy and all this to, destroy what is good. Had it been bad, Nnaji was still in power at that time. By 2012, it would have been in 10,000 megawatts. By 2015, when Jonathan handed over, it would have taken us to maybe 12,500 or 13,000 megawatts. And we would have been growing because it must have built that solid, plan. But the corruption in the power sector won't let them be. During privatization, what happened? Power was sold to friends of government who doesn't have capacity to manage it. That's why we are where we are today. These are the issues. So we need to deal with corruption. Peter Obi has said he will deal with corruption. He himself is not corrupt. His family is not part of his government. Even in Anambra, his son is not there. The wife was not there. It was only Peter Obi. So he said, if I'm not stealing, my family is not stealing. The people around me are not stealing. I've cut corruption by 50%. And that is true. Why people steal is when they see the leader stealing, they too will be stealing. And the leader cannot talk because he knows they know he's stealing. That is the problem. And that's the bane of our country today. So corruption, we're going to deal. And how will he deal with corruption? It's not all this oppressing people with EFCC. No. The way Peter Obi fights corruption is to block that access you will have to that resources. When he blocks it, you won't have the access. So there's no need, both of you, exchanging West or putting EFCC on your neck. No. That's what he does. He did in Anambra. So when he block all those leakages, cut off those channels, these people are, having access to steal resources, such as contract inflation. Any contract that will be approved at FEC will be scrutinized to make sure that it is the right cost and it will meet the needs of Nigerians. So when this thing happens, you will see the cost of construction will go down. That is the point. It will go down because he did it in Anambra. They bring budget to build government tax, billions. What happened? Millions of naira. What happened? He used less than 50% of their cost to do the same job, get the same result. So that's why they don't like him. And that's how they deserted the state, left him. So the same thing will happen at the federal. If he enters, all these people going to Aso Rock all the time, they will stop going. He said it that, when he was governor, some religious leaders and chiefs will come, community chiefs will come to greet him. When they are going, they were expecting envelope. He said, you are coming to greet me. So you didn't do any service. So you don't deserve to receive anything. He doesn't give them money when they are going back. That's how they stop coming. But today, visit a governor, if you are leaving envelope, thank you for coming. That's why we see every day visit. So all these things will stop so that we will have resources to develop our country. You can see consistent borrowing from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Under Peter Obi's watch, it will not happen. Even if he will borrow, the borrowing will be very, very minimal. Even if Peter Obi will borrow, he did governor as 8 years. He did not borrow one dime for 8 years. And I believe he will do the same in federal. But even if he will borrow, he must be tied to project. Nigeria will see where the money is going. And the borrowing will not be like president that borrows every 2 days from National Assembly. Request will be coming. It will not be like that. So if you really want your country to work, you'll be able to make the right choices and right decision. That is the point. It's not about whether you like the man or not. What we need now, like Peter Obi always say, Nigeria needs a wealth creator and a wealth manager. Ask yourself, President Bola Tinubu, where has he managed before? That is the question. He owns Alpha Beta, but he's not the CEO running the administration, the organizing, and everything that goes on there. No, he just owns it. People are there doing the work. He's in his house. What else has he done? He owns TVC. He's not there managing the TVC. So when you look at this whole thing, you ask yourself, why are Nigerians not seeing clearly to know who they need now? Because we have resources. You can see the tax law. There's nothing wrong in taxation. But the point is, people are poor. So who are you taxing? That is the point. You need to create wealth first, and then you tax people. Then we have the ability to pay. But in our climate, it's a different ballgame. So I don't know who the people that are waiting for urgent 2K and are then going to pay the tax. I don't know. So the issue is that Nigeria need someone who has the experience in management, who has the experience in organizing, who has empathy, conscience, character, capacity. Someone who can relate to the people. Peter Obi said if he becomes president, he's going to visit the whole 36 states. He's going to interface with the people one-on-one to know what is their problem, their need, and discuss how to solve it for them. How many presidents have visited a state to engage with people? No, they only visit state to cut ribbon for projects. They go. Even when there are killings, how many states did they visit? The current president, 3 years now, how many states has he visited with all the killings going on in the country? Kidnapping in Oyo and beheading of a teacher. The wife was busy sharing vehicles to women leader. She didn't visit this place. She didn't commiserate with the family to go there in person to, interface with his fellow women who were taken, who are in the bush with the guns on their head, doing video for the kidnappers. But he's sharing cars to non-APC states on how they will clinch the state. That is the issue. No empathy. They don't care. All they care is power. All they care is to gain access to power, sit on it, die on it. That's all. That's all. So, guys, I don't know what else to tell you. If I start mentioning a lot of things, this video will be too long. So, but summarily, with what I have just said here on this video, just put these points down that I've mentioned. If Peter Obi eventually wins, and you don't see these things, then don't know that it's not the Peter Obi I know. He has to do what I've mentioned in this video because he had done it before. That is his leadership style. Spend money wisely. Invest money in the right places. That is his lifestyle. He doesn't dish out money. And I saw somebody made a video saying, if Peter Obi said want to be president, they kidnap students in Oyo. Why didn't he tell CBN to take money from his account to give those kidnappers so that they will release the girl? Some Nigerians are stupid. Some Nigerians are useless in their brain. After they smoke loud and all this, and they carry camera and be talking nonsense, on TV, talking nonsense on their phones and posting it on social media. In fact, I angrily removed that video immediately and blocked that, video. That moment, because the person is talking nonsense. You are giving money to kidnappers, building their enterprise to kidnap more people and buy more arms. So it is the duty of government to rescue the girls, not duty of Peter Obi. It's not his duty to pay for ransom. It's the government responsibility to go there, enter the bush, and get those kidnappers and release the children. Don't forget that America was kidnapped in Nigeria. I think in Sokoto, they sent 6 of their, Marines or sea team into Nigeria. And they went to the bush, killed those kidnappers, and rescued 1 citizen of America they are holding hostage. So what are you telling us? Some people will come and say, because they have the children, they use them as shield. If they go to rescue them, they'll put the lives of the children in danger. As they are in the bush, they are not in danger. Over 16 days in the bush with kidnappers, they are not in danger. The government should do the needful and stop giving excuses. Go there and rescue the people. Look at one American soldier in Iran that the plane, was knocked down. One was rescue. The second person, look at how many 100 aircraft was released for one man, one person. Value of life. One person. They send how many soldiers plus hundreds of helicopters to look for one man, just one man. And they found him. They made effort. They put all the resources and they found him in the midst of war, midst of enemy lines, not to talk about Nigeria. So when you don't have government, when you have government that is incompetent, that doesn't know what they are doing, you create room for excuses for them. Oh, because they have the children, when they go there, it's going to be this. You are not serious. You are not serious. So that's what it is. So guys, 2027 is around the corner. Not just presidential election. As we are scrutinizing who will be the president, please, we should focus also who will be the governors, members of House of Assembly, members of National Assembly, and the local government elections as well. Because when you don't have good people from bottom up, even if you have Jesus on the top, things will not work. But the fact remains that We need good people across board, not just at the presidential level. That is the point I'm trying to make. So don't just focus on the president, also focus on the governors. Because if governors are doing well with the resources they are receiving from FAC, state levels will also be better, not just federal. That is the point. So guys, I'm going to leave it here. There are many other things Peter Obi will do when he enter office. At least for the first 100 days, you start feeling the impact. You start seeing direction. I saw somebody speaking the other day on Arise News. Oh, that we need to be fair in our judgment. How nobody can feel security in 3 years. Nobody can. What has happened in Nigeria? That is not the issue. We are not talking about President Bola Tinubu solving all Nigerian problems. What we are saying is whatever the government is doing, if it's working, we will be seeing signs. That's why in development you have the impact, which is at the topmost top, which takes like 5 years and above to see. You have the outcome, which takes between 1 to 3 years to see. Is the immediate result that you see when you have implemented your output, right? You have built schools, for example. That is an output. What happened next? Pupils will, seek for admission and they enter. You recruit teachers who will teach them. All those things are now what? The result is now what? Academics is taking place, right? As they are taking place, there's less people out of school at that point. There are less people vulnerable to be used by terrorists at that point. These are the outcomes of that school you built. There are changes. Employment, you are recruiting teachers. Employment is happening because you build that school. So if President Tinubu policy is working, by now, 3 years, economy would have been stabilizing in terms of high cost of living would have been dropping. That's one. Insecurity would have been minimal. During Jonathan, it was just in the Northeast. Even in the Northeast, more in the 3 Northeast states, Yobe, Gombe, Adamawa, Borno, I think Yobe, and Adamawa or something like that, that time. Then at times, in other remaining 3 states. But today, across the country, insecurity everywhere, even in your home. I saw a video of the other day, a girl complaining they came to their estate in Abuja to kidnap people. So it is no more secluded in a particular area. It's now everywhere, even in villages and communities. So what are we talking about? So we are not asking him to change Nigeria overnight. Even Peter Obi, 4 years, he's not telling you he will change Nigeria in 4 years. He's telling you that between that 4 years, he will chart the course that will transform the country. And many people don't understand when we are talking about this ticket of Peter Obi and Kwankwaso. That is a long-term ticket. It's not about Peter Obi, because the idea, Peter Obi builds the platform in his 4 years, he stays off. Kwankwaso takes over and continue that platform. So there will be continuity for the next 12 years before Kwankwaso hands over to the next person in the South. So that 12 years alone, if they consistently do what they are doing, Nigeria must have changed by far within 12 years. And Peter Obi, I know, will implement the SDGs at the federal level, because that's his development strategy in the state level with his needs that time. So when he key into these developmental goals, you will see how the country will start turning around. You will start seeing signs, not that changes will happen overnight. No, we didn't expect Tinubu for changes to happen overnight. But we have said that 3 years is too much for us to start seeing signs. That is the minimum measurement range for an outcome to be showing result. But it's not. More hardship, more insecurity, more poverty, more darkness, more, just name it. 140 million Nigerians in multi-dimensional poverty. When he took over, it was far less than that. I think it was about 1/3 or so. He added 10 more million in 3 years. Look at our borrowings and so on and so forth. So anyway, guys, I'm going to let it slide there. But 2027 is your choice. Make your right choices. If you know what is good for you, think twice before you know what you are doing. It's not by emotion. You don't need to like Peter Obi. You don't need to like Atiku. You don't need to like anybody. Focus on what will the person deliver. That is the main objective. In fact, people you don't even like are people that do well. That's the point. Anyways, I don't know what you think, but whatever you think, please put it at the comment section. I will continue to talk and debate on these things. And that's the way it is. We have to continue to help people to know what is going on, to be able to make informed decision. It is what it is. Tinubu have been tested 3 years. We haven't seen any concrete, result, as the case may be. Most of the result they are claiming is at the macro level. Our interest is the micro. How does it translate to the life of the people? Until it touches the people, nothing is working, because governance is about the welfare of the people. It's not about macro. It's about the welfare of the people. So if people are not getting security, the government has failed, because the paramount responsibility of government is to provide security for its people and then their welfare. These two things, this government has failed in it. That's the honest truth. So I will answer I will respond to your comments on the comment section, and we keep it on and keep it good. Be respectful in your comment. I will see you in my next video. But before I'm leaving, if you are new to my channel, please kindly like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel and put on your notification bell so that when my next new video drop, you'll be among those that will be notified. Thank you for watching this video to the end. I'll see you in my next video. Do have a wonderful day. I'm signing out. See ya.